Greetings, everyone. This is Payment Lorna, the host, your friend, your coach. Today, we're kicking off the April class for the 5-day Profitable Podcast Lead Challenge. This is a call for the US, Canada, Australia. More people on the way, people stuck in traffic, having issues with links, but we're going to start anyway. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for your trust, for your time. We're going to spend a good time together. So, it's going to be fun. Let me start sharing my screen here. 1 second. Not this one. This is the one I want to share. Okay. There you go. Okay, here. Do you guys see my screen? Okay,
Yes.
perfect. All right, so this is the outcome, the quantifiable, measurable end result of this challenge. By the end of the 5-day Profitable Podcast launch challenge, you will have an actionable blueprint to launch your profitable podcast and or YouTube channel. And we're going to do that together over the course of the week so that ultimately you can get leads on demand and clients organically, whether you already have an audience, but especially if you have no audience or tiny audience, because I'm going to be sharing you my personal story of how I've been able to crack the code and leverage YouTube and podcast the right way with absolutely no audience. You both know my story. So I'm going to be sharing the exact same approach and method that allowed me to get way over 100 high-ticket clients in 18 months with a YouTube channel of less than 200 subscribers. So here's a menu for the week, day by day. But today is day 1, meet and greet. Gonna get to know each other a little bit. And then my story, now podcasting completely transformed both my life and my business, or rather, blessed me with a business, because when I started, I had no idea how to even turn into a business. And then why podcasting is so powerful for both you personally as a human being and also for your business. And that's going to blow your mind, because the benefits for at least from my personal opinion, the benefits for you as a person will far outweigh the benefit as for your business. And you will see that. And then we're going to end up with a bang. And that's going to be, what do you want to achieve through your profitable podcast? We're going to do some brainstorming together so that we get the most out of this. So day 2 tomorrow. And as you will notice, everything will build from the previous day. It's like building a house step by step. Oh, here's Brian. Okay, perfect. And so tomorrow we're going to be looking at something that is the absolute central point of everything I do, and that is called the zone of genius. Tomorrow we're going to be brainstorming as to what is your podcast going to be about, and there's going to be no guesswork involved. It's going to be a very simple yet very logical step-by-step process that's going to be based on your zone of genius. So we're going to identify your zone of genius, and then we're going to build your offer, craft your messaging, and ultimately build your business, your high-ticket business around your zone of genius, while leveraging the podcast, as a platform to get your message across and to connect with the audience, to build bridges, and ultimately build trust. So that's what we're going to do. And once we've done that, then it's going to be very obvious for us as to who's going to be your ideal listener and your ideal client. That's going to be based on your zone of genius. And then for day 3, we're going to be taking your zone of genius and we're going to be literally crafting your irresistible Godfather offer that's going to be based around your zone of genius. We're going to focus on one very specific pain point for one very specific person, and we're going to build everything around that. Thank you, Michael, for being here. Thank you, Brian, for being here despite being stuck in traffic. Drive slowly, please. Carefully. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be also introducing another very important central point of everything that we're going to be doing. And that's going to be your quantifiable, measurable end result of your offer. That is an absolute non-negotiable that your offer, your business must have in order to be irresistible. And I'm going to expand on that on Wednesday. I'm going to also have one of my experts in the comments going to show us how to build an irresistible offer. And then on day 4, we're going to be literally creating a podcast, building a YouTube channel together from scratch, and creating the asset that go with it, and covering all the tech side. We're going to talk about the format for your podcast, naming the podcast the right way, We're gonna literally be creating your YouTube channel from scratch if you don't have it yet. Gonna create the cover art, the thumbnails, and so on and so forth. Gonna share with you the type of microphone I recommend to start with, accessories, the software. We're gonna be also be doing a crash course on recording, editing your shows, which is something that most of you guys already know. As long as you've been using Zoom and you've been able to use a computer, you will know it's very easy. And also an expert talk as well on Wednesday, sorry, on Thursday. It's going to be my good friend, my publisher, and alumni of my academy, Mary Gooden. She's going to talk to us about how to leverage books to take your visibility in your business to the next level. And then through your podcast. Let me see what's on the message here. Okay. Thank you, Brian. Okay. And then on Friday, day 5, we're going to put all of this together and we're going to look at ways to monetize it. And when I say monetizing it, I'm not talking about getting peanuts from YouTube or Google, because if I were to rely on the money I would get from YouTube based on views, I wouldn't be able to even buy a cup of coffee a month. Because in 4 years, it took me a year to be monetized the traditional way. I still haven't received a penny. And honestly, I don't even bother going after that. Instead, I will be showing you how to leverage your tiny, brand spanking new podcast and YouTube channel to get clients in as little as 45 to 60 days from day one. And I'm talking high ticket clients at the bare minimum, $1,000 or more. And I'm going to be showing you how to, once you have that system in place, how to get literally leads on demand and clients organically, as well as turning your podcast into an unstoppable machine in many ways. And also talking about showing you the other ways that you can leverage your podcast for much bigger opportunities like public speaking, books, tours, and so on and so forth. Just like it's blessed myself as well. So, any questions so far? Any question, any moment, just feel free to raise your hand. Are you guys excited so far about what's going to be in menu for this week? All right, cool. So my story. All right, let me check the. Okay, pumped. Yes, Brian. Thank you. Please focus on driving, Brian. We need you, brother. All right. For those of you who don't know my story, let me briefly. 5 years ago, I was in a very, very dark spot. Okay, who's that? Sacred community. Okay, perfect. I was in a very dark spot. I was living in Hong Kong, in China, trying to build a business. The business didn't work out. I literally ran out of money. If it wasn't for a friend of mine, I would have been on the street, living on $20 a week. I was in a very dark spot on every aspect, painfully shy. I used to be fat. My self-esteem was not even zero, it was negative. Beyond broke, credit got canceled, credit destroyed. I had to ask my sister to book me a ticket to return back to Canada at the start of the pandemic, landing in Toronto on the 27th of February of 2020 with only $200 to my name. And depressed, lost. At one point, I was even suicidal because I didn't want to keep playing this game. No matter what I tried, nothing was working for me. We live in the countryside outside of Toronto. There's a big highway, and on the other side of the highway, there's a train track. Quite a lot of times, I would just go there and ponder for hours what would be the fastest, easiest way, and less painless way for me to literally check out. But what kept me going was me talking on my podcast I started in October of 2020 with people that literally overcame a billion times more painful challenge in life than me. People that have having lost everything, went to jail, people that overcame terminal diseases, people that overcame life-altering accident, becoming paraplegic, handicapped, and yet all of these people were telling me the same thing. Just because you're going through some temporary financial challenges, that's not a reason for you to check out. You're young, you're not stupid, you can get back on your feet. And I had built and sold businesses before, but for some reason I was going through a funk, like as if I had a black cloud hanging over my head, following me everywhere. Like nothing was working for me. Can you guys relate with that? Have you gone through a phase in your life where no matter what you tried, nothing was working for you? And you wondered yourself, what is wrong with me? What I'm missing? Can you guys relate with that? So, for me, podcast was what really helped me keep my sanity and not make that final move to check out. And at the same time, it completely It was the start of blessing my life in ways I can't even imagine. Building a very successful, impactful, and profitable podcast. Now fast approaching 400 episodes in 4.5 years. A thriving international academy, expanding in the UK, Europe, and soon in the moon. And now a fourth time, soon to be a fifth time, #1 international best-selling author. I just finalized the details and the terms for my next book with my publisher last week. Wonderful friendships. I was blessed to do a TED Talk last summer here in Vietnam. I was also blessed to do a talk and be a keynote speaker at a conference 2 weeks ago here in Vietnam for digital nomads on how to leverage podcasting with clients. But most importantly, beautiful friendships around the world. And I'm tremendously grateful for all of these financial blessings. But the greatest gift for me that podcasting blessed me with was that of killing my shyness. I used to be incredibly painfully shy and find my voice, my purpose, my mission, my ikigai, as the Japanese say. And the rest is history. And here I am today, blessed. And I don't know if you guys had the chance to watch my TED Talk. It's here in the slides. I will share it with you later. You can watch that at your own time. But enough about me. Let's spend 30 to 60 seconds, 30 seconds telling us about you. Where you're from? What is your business? And what do you want to get out of this week and your podcast? Why do you want to start a podcast? Starting from left to right, Lorna.
So I'm Lorna. I'm here in British Columbia, Canada. For me, speaking has been something 43 years ago, with my little child there, watching an inspirational speaker, realizing that's one of the things that I'm going to do one day. I've been a teacher in the school system, energy work, and now sex education, spirituality. And for me, it's really about using my voice to support people in reclaiming their sexual freedom and their spiritual wholeness, homes of harmony.
Beautiful. Love that. I love your story. I had the pleasure of having you on my podcast recently. I'm cheering for you, Lorna. You've been blessed with a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gift, my friend. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Elijah.
you, John.
You're welcome. Elijah, my brother.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Well, I'm Elijah Sorrell, based out of San Diego, California. I'm a financial architect, so I own a private wealth management and financial planning practice and help people with identifying their most important goals and essentially create blueprints for them to achieve them, while also making sure we keep Uncle Sam out their pockets and keep as much as what they work so hard to acquire. So that's what I do. I solve money problems and prevent them, and I like to have a good time while doing it. I like to also be very personable with people. So I've been told I'm pretty easy to talk to. So I feel like on the side of having a podcast, I'll just be able to reach more people as far as general information goes. And also, it is also a sense of, I guess, healing that you could say in the same time.
Love that. Absolutely love that.
So
Especially
that's me.
love the branding, the financial architect. That's amazing. Well done, brother. Well done. Awesome. Sophia, are you here, my friend? All right. We'll come back to you in a moment. My brother, Michael.
Hey, it's great to be here with you, Payman, and great to be here with you all. Well, there's been a shift in so much in consciousness that, Michael would before say that he's a coach, he's a teacher, and really not wanting to be a coach, to be a teacher, but really realizing that I serve as an activator, which that's Payman's word, by the way. We're not taking it away.
I can use
We're
it.
an activator of divine. What's that?
You feel free to use it, my friend.
Yeah, we're an activator of divine remembrance. We serve as a mirror. We don't teach, we transmit. And we transmit through presence, as the mirror has always been here. And we're here to remind humanity that we cannot escape the mirror. It's time that we face and we love and we free that mirror, because we are not becoming, we are remembering.
Thank you. Love that, brother. Love that. And since Brian is driving, he can talk. He typed it. I'm going to read it. Brian Todd from San Diego, California. He's got one of the most inspiring, empowering, and goosebump-inducing stories. I recommend you guys listen to his story. So he said, know how most of us are missing the connection we need to thrive in life. I taught myself to stand up, speak up, and listen to create the relationships I needed in life and business. Time to teach that to others, releasing their most authentic gift they were given at birth. Absolutely love that. Yes, yes, yes. Love that. Good morning, Sophia from Australia.
Hey, Payman, and
Hello.
everyone else. Sorry I'm late.
No worries. You're always on time and you on time. So tell us a little about yourself. So you're in Australia. What do you tell us? What do you do? And what are you looking to get out of this, out of your podcast? And 30 to 60 seconds.
In 30 to 60 seconds. Oh my God, I just finished a panel discussion. So I'm Sophia from Australia. I have the honor of co-creating Sacred You, which is a global community for women. So check us out at sacredyou.love. We have a podcast called Pathways to Wellbeing that is been up and running. We're in our second year now,
Ooh.
which is very good. We've also started to, not that people can come on the podcast for free, right? But we're now offering a paid content creation service if our guests want their own content, not just a link, but their actual own content, and also branded content, we can do that. What am I hoping to get out of it? Well, just being in your beautiful company, Payment, and everyone else's, and you never know what we can pick up.
I love that. I love that. I love the name Sacred You. And
Yeah.
one of the things I love doing is connecting people, and the people you meet, who knows? You can meet someone in this group that you guys can connect and co-create magic together. That's another one of my favorite words, co-creating magic together.
Yes, exactly.
So awesome, awesome. Have I missed anyone? Okay, perfect. Let's move on. So now, thank you for sharing this. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of what we're here for. So first of all, why is podcasting so powerful for business? Before I start, I'd like to hear at least one or two people telling us, why do you think podcasting is so powerful for business and for yourself as well? There's no right or wrong answers. I just want to hear your feedback before I jump into the content. Who wants to go first? Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't believe I know that podcast is important because at the end of the day, there's so much media and content in the world that is not reminding people who they are. There's so much content in the world that is telling people they got to act a certain way, they got to talk a certain way, they got to sound a certain way, they got to dress a certain way, they got to fit in a certain way. And podcast is people coming out, shredding the layers in the aspects of limitation and transforming their stories. And simply by sharing, transforming your story, that I would love to end with this. You can Google the video of Morgan Freeman talking to a monk, and he asked his question, what is the greatest miracle you've ever seen? This guy has seen levitations. This guy has seen the Buddhist monks do like things that are outside of the norm for the mental construct of what we think is normal. So he says, well, what do you think is most needed in the world? Do people need to levitate more? Do people need to do this, do that more? He says the thing that is most important is the transformation of the human mind. And that's what you're bringing, Payment.
Thank
With
you.
this challenge, you're letting people know your voice is important. You got to scream. You literally got to stage. There's no more excuses.
That's it.
It's time to shine and share with the world. So I think podcasting, I know podcasting is so important because if we were just 20, 30 years ago, people would pay thousands of dollars to do what we can just do and turn on live.
Yep. Thank you,
And
brother.
it's needed. It's needed.
Listen, I deeply appreciate your kind words. And one of my mantra is, I graciously, gracefully, and gratefully claim these and all blessings the universe has for me. So thank you, brother. Well accepted, well received. All right, let's move on. So podcasting is so powerful for many reasons, and I'm going to cover all of this. First and foremost, because it's going to allow you, it's going to be your platform where you can share your story while at the same time displaying expertise. What do I mean by that? Because when you share your story, you're basically recounting how you've overcame whatever crap you went through. And one thing you will hear me say over and over and over again is that your crap is your gold, meaning your mess is your message. Nothing happens to you but for you. And when you share how you've overcame whatever crap you had to go through, whatever challenge life threw at you, guess what? You're not only sharing your story, but also displaying expertise how you overcame that. Because what people want to know, when people are looking for a coach, an activator, a mentor, what they're looking for are a financial alchemist or any other, expert. They want someone that is just a few steps ahead of them, someone that's overcame what they're currently going through, not a disconnected billionaire. That's what people want. So when you share your story, display expertise, you will give an amazing opportunity for your audience, not random people, but the right people, your tribe, to really get to know you at the base as a human being. And in the process, you will build unmatched, intimate connection with your audience, while at the same time, most importantly, ultimately, you will be building trust, rapport, and a lasting connection with your exact audience. One thing that you will see me here all the time that allowed me to crack the code is that it's not about the numbers. I don't play the vanity metrics. I don't care about the number of followers, subscribers, or views. I'm lucky if my videos get more than 50 views. But it's okay if that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is meaningful connections with the right people, which are infinitely more valuable in every aspect, not just financially, but most importantly as a human being, than a bunch of random people who couldn't care about you. Last year, I used to run very big challenges, 50 to 60 people in the challenges. But because there were so many people, I wasn't able to really help people. And one of the decisions I made was to limit on purpose the number of people I get in a challenge, 5 to 10 people, so I can have a really intimate connection with them to really help them at the highest level. So again, it's all about the connection, the trust. It's your platform, so you can ultimately build trust, rapport, and all that, because trust is very important. Because at the end of the day, what is business? Business is not a numbers game. Sure, numbers matter, but ultimately, it's a relationship nurturing process. We do business with people we like, relate, and trust. And podcasting is the best way to build that. And as some of you may have heard me say that many times, when it comes to high ticket selling, anything over $1,000, about one thing and one thing only: trust. Now, how do you build that trust? By building rapport. How do you build rapport? By simply having heart-to-heart conversations, speaking from the heart, being authentic, being vulnerable. That's when the magic happens. When you build that trust, there's no need to pitch, to sell, to convince, or like to say in a funny, cheesy way. There's no need to seduce or kidnap someone to do business with them. It's a natural, automatic, organic progression. Once you build that trust, once me and you guys, we connect man to man, or man to woman, or woman to woman, then it's going to open the doors to collaborations, co-creating magic, to doing business, opens wallets, and everything else in between. So that's why it's all about trust. It's so important. And why is podcasting the best way to connect with the exact audience, prospect, clients, and ultimately your tribe, the people that really matter the most to you, the people that need your message more than anyone else? Is because when someone listens to your podcast, sure, they're interested in your topic, but most importantly, they can relate with you, they can identify with you, they can resonate with your message, and ultimately, they like you. They like your sense of humor, your personality, your character, and so on and so forth. How many of you guys are regularly listening to podcasts? Raise your hand. And the podcast that you listen to, how many of you have actually met? I talked to, or rather met, those hosts, those people that we perceive as superstars. How many of you have actually met them? What is that, Michael? Is it zero? Is it you're raising your hand as you did? Can't hear you.
Percentage-wise, very, very few.
Okay.
Very, very few.
So the
Yeah.
point is, when you listen to someone's podcast for a few days, weeks, a month, you feel like you know them. You view them as a friend. And as a result of that, you start to liking them. Can you relate with that? So again, that's why it's very important. And as we all know, the most valuable currency in the world of business is attention, especially in today's age with the attention span of the average adult being less than a goldfish, which is 3 seconds. How do you stand out? And when someone listens to you to your podcast, it's literally you and the earbuds, no one else. Sure, they may be doing the dishes, cooking, going for a walk, driving, whatever. But there's no other distractions. Like when the TV is playing or the radio, when there's a lot of distraction around it. You get an unmatched, intimate connection with your audience when someone listens to your podcast, especially if your podcast is anywhere over 30 minutes. Because nobody's gonna listen to you or me if not only they can relate with you, but if they don't like you. Does that make sense? So again, podcasting is incredible. Now, let me dive in deeper. These are all some of the benefits that I personally and my students from my academy have all experienced as benefits of a podcast for themselves as a man, as a woman, as a human being, before even the business. Your podcast is going to be, as I said, your platform to share your story and document your journey. Not only for you to see your growth, but also for your tribe, your ever increasing community and tribe to see your progress, your journey. It's incredible. In the process, you will make some incredible friendships around the world. I've been blessed with phenomenal friendships from around the world as a result of my podcast. Here's one of my favorite benefits of podcasts for you as a person. It's going to allow you to get your foot in the door and get you access to people you normally would not be able to. Let's say you see someone on TV or you just read an article about them or on YouTube and you're inspired and want to reach out to them and you want to send them a message on Facebook, Instagram, or on LinkedIn. What are the chances, the likelihood of them getting back to you with, hey, John, Mary, I just saw you on TV or I just read your book. I'd love to pick up your brain. If you were to message someone with this message, what is the likelihood that they will get back to you? A big fat zero, because they're being inundated, flooded all day long. But what if you were to reach them with a different approach? And that is, hey, Michael, hey, Elijah, Sophia, Lorna, Payman. My name is Payman. I'm the host of the Leader About podcast. I just saw you on TV. I just read something about you. I love what you're doing. And I would be honored for you to come share your story on my podcast. With this approach, in over 400 episodes in 4.5 years, I had 0 people say no to me. Only 2 people, well, let me rephrase that. 2 people said no. And those were soft no's. One was a woman about to give birth, so we had to reschedule the podcast. The second was a gentleman from the US was about to move from to Germany for work. So again, we had to reschedule it. But nobody told me outright, no, get lost. Nobody's ignored me. What is the point? The point is everybody wants to be on a podcast, regardless of the size, because when you invite someone on a podcast, you're doing them a favor. You're elevating their status, giving them more visibility, because they can leverage that for their own social media, for their own. Have you seen websites of people where they say on some section of the site, say, as seen or as interviewed on? Well, guess what? This is what I mean. So this is one of the most powerful ways that podcasting is going to allow you, it's going to benefit you personally. Here's another big one for me. You will get to learn about yourself and get to know yourself and the process. I can't tell you how many times just before I release every episode, I rewatch the episode, and I can't tell you how many times I caught myself saying, wait a second, did I really say that? Where is that coming from? Sometimes you get in the zone. You get almost as you become a vehicle for divine, well, I'm not going to get too crazy, but you get messages being channeled through you. I swear to you guys. Can you guys relate to that? Sometimes you say things that you wonder, wait a second, did I really say that? Because you say things that you normally don't say. You get in the flow, you get in the zone. I'm getting goosebumps right here. The one in the middle is the central one, the one that opened everything for me. And that is, it's going to allow you to overcome your shyness and fear of public speaking. What is a stat that say the thing people fear most, even more than death, is public speaking? Well, guess what? Podcasting is going to kill that once and for all. Because I used to be the most painfully shy guy in the world. People that know me from before, when they see me talking with confidence, not only online, but in front of stages and in public, in person, they say, wait a second, what happened to you? Did you make a pact with the devil? No, never did, never will. I just find my voice. And when you find your voice, you become unstoppable. Now, I can't even shut up. So again, this is a huge one, guys. And the process, when you do all of this, is going to allow you to drastically improve your communication and listening skills. What do I mean by that? One of my pet peeves when I listen to podcasts is when I see the host always interrupting the guest. I want to scream at them and say, listen, yo, it's not about you. It's about the guest. And this one thing I always tell my guest, I'm just the host. The star is you. What can I say? What can I do to make you shine bright and shining? What can I do to make you win? If I can give you one tip that's going to allow you to really connect very deep with people, whether for business or in real life, is let them talk, let them finish. That's why God gave us 2 ears, because we need to listen twice as much than speaking. If not, we'll have one mouth here, one mouth here. So again, it's going to drastically improve your communication, listening skills. And because you will be speaking with so many incredible, inspiring people with goosebump-inducing stories, guess what? It's going to make you a much more interesting person to talk to, because you will have so much of these wisdom, so many of these stories to draw from, to learn from, to elevate from, that you will become the most interesting, fascinating man and woman in your world, in your circle. And because of all of that, it's going to allow you to connect at a much deeper level with anyone you talk to, whether it's business people, your family, your friends, your neighbors, anyone. Because it's all about connection, building rapport and trust, listening, and drawing from the experiences, the wisdom of all the other people that you will be connecting with. And if you put all of these together, you will become a much more powerful and charismatic, not just speaker, not just person, but leader for your business, leader for your family, leader for your circle, leader for your industry. Does it make sense, guys? And at the very bottom, you see something very important, because none of us would do it if it wasn't the case. Podcasting is very fun. I love talking to people. And one of the first questions I ask people is, one of the questions I really don't like is, so what do you do? Instead, I like to ask, so what's your story? What's your impact? How are you making the world a better place around you and around the world? I love listening to people's stories. A friend of mine asked me, what would you want to do if you were given a wish? What's your ultimate dream job? I said, if I could, I would ask God to make me the official interviewer of the universe, going to every soul and ask him, so what's your story? Or the official podcaster of the universe, if that was even possible. You know what I mean? Because I love listening to people's stories. Everybody has a story, a voice, an incredible, inspiring, empowering, goosebump-inducing stories. And last but definitely not least, it's going to allow you to find your voice, your purpose, your passion, your ikigai, as the Japanese says, your reason for being here. And once you become this, it's going to give you a direction. It's going to give it's going to open everything for you. It's going to give you your why. Do you guys see how powerful podcasting is for you as a person? How all of these are infinitely much more valuable than any financial benefits? You know, there's a saying that says, let's say your goal is to make $1 million. The real benefit is not the $1 million, but the person you become in the process. That's the real gold. So does that make sense, guys? Do you see how this is incredibly life-changing, all of these? Cool, awesome. Let's move on. Now, let's take a look at the benefits for your business. Of course, the most obvious one is going to allow you to attract and connect, not just with random people, but to the exact ideal clients. I like to say your soul aligned dream clients who are able and ready to pay in full. These are the people that you'll connect because, again, it's all about trust. It's a fantastic platform to allow your audience to get to know you so you can build rapport with them. And the process building a very intimate connection with them. Here's one of my favorite benefits for business. Your best clients will be your podcast listeners. And I'm going to dive deeper into that in a moment. And of course, your podcast is going to be a fantastic, not just lead generation, but most importantly, a lead education machine. What do I mean by that? Because as a coach, as a mentor, as an activator, as an alchemist, one of our primary tasks before we can even get the opportunity to sell is to educate our audience as to what is the pain point they have, why your pain point is here, what's going to happen if they don't take action. Because again, we don't know what we don't know. So we need to educate them. For example, Elijah, before you even tell them about any financial services, you need to make them understand, hey, here's a problem and why there's a problem and what's going to happen if you don't take any action. So it's an incredible platform to educate your audience. And when you educate your audience, that's going to further elevate you in their eyes. And I'm going to cover that soon. Not only as an expert, an authority, as a leader, but also you're going to be displaying your expertise in the process. And of course, an obvious one, you're going to have a tremendous amount of content that you can leverage for endless other content, such as shorts, highlight reels, blog posts, and so on and so forth. And even books. I can do an entire 5-day challenge just on that, how you can leverage your podcast for books. But that's a different story. I will let my publisher do that on later this week. And as I mentioned earlier, all of this, educating your audience, building connection with them, that's going to elevate you and position you in their mind, not just as an expert, an authority leader, but most importantly, as their leader, their expert, their authority. Because why? Because they get to know you at a deeper level. This is why on my podcast, you're on my podcast recently, Lorna, 80% of the call, we were talking about getting to know you as a person, as a human being, as a woman. Because if we can't connect man to woman or man to man or woman to woman, we're not going to talk, let alone do business with. Hence the name Leaders with a Heart, not just leaders for profit. Because it's also about here. So again, because you are the one that's going to educate them, that's going to open their eyes to their problems, you will become by default their go-to guy or girl. And of course, podcasting is a fantastic platform for networking. Podcasting actually is a new golf. Before the pandemic, you want to meet people, you would go to networking events such as, say, the BNI or the country club, or playing golf or tennis or whatever, where you meet high net worth people. But now, since the pandemic, countless businesses of all sizes have started as a result of 2 people just having a conversation on a podcast. For example, me, nowadays, I only do business with people I met on my podcast. My publisher, with whom I've done 4, soon to be 5, #1 international best-selling books, she was a guest on my podcast. In July of 2021, my copywriter, my email marketing guy, my PR lady, all of them have come from my podcast. Because again, just as a platform for my audience to know me, it goes both ways. It's a beautiful platform for me to get to know them, to vet them, to build that trust with them. And of course, podcasting is a phenomenal launching pad for much bigger things. For example, when I started my podcast, I had no clue, no idea how to turn it into a business. It blessed me with a beautiful business, with an academy, books, public speaking, TED Talks, God willing, TV, radio, and so on and so forth. There's no limit. So podcasting went down the right way. is a key to opening up, to taking your business to the next level. And last but definitely not least, it's going to drastically reduce the sales cycle of whatever you're selling, especially if it's high ticket. Usually, if a sales cycle can be a few weeks to a few months, but with a podcast, it can reduce it to a few weeks or even a few days. Because when someone's been listening to your podcast for a few weeks, as I said, they will feel they know you, they will trust you, they will like you. It's going to be much easier for them to reach out to you, so that, and doing business with you will become a natural, progressive, organic, logical next step, as opposed to looking for someone they don't know. So, do you guys see how powerful a podcast can be when done correctly for a business, for your business? Raise your hand if you see that. So, of all of these, which one is the single most important one for you, for your business? The most valuable of all of these benefits for your business? Oops. Lorna, go ahead.
I see it as the one that initially builds the relationships.
That's it. That's it. Because it's all about relationships. And as far as benefits for you as a person, which one of these, maybe I should have asked that earlier, which one is the most important, the most valuable for you of all of these? For me, by far, it was the one in the middle, overcoming my shyness and fear of public speaking, because that was what was holding me back. Let's see the. Okay, yeah. Okay. Know yourself. Okay, Brian, thank you, brother. Be safe. Awesome. Let's move on. Do you guys know this guy? Russell Brunson? So here's one of my favorite quotes from him. Music and radio listeners make on average $60,000 a year, while podcast listeners make on average $120,000. Why do you think that is the case? Is it because music dumbs you down? Nope. I love music. Why do you think that podcast listeners make twice as much as non-podcast listeners? Let's hear at least one person. Go ahead.
I would say it's because they are already committed to personal growth, to exploring different perspectives, seeing what else is possible.
Absolutely. It's because podcast listeners, not only they understand the power of self-investment, but as a result of that, they're more successful and they have the disposable income to invest in themselves. They see the value of investing in themselves. And because they have the disposable income, they will be ready to invest in themselves. And when they invest in themselves, they're investing in you and me. And that's why you will attract a much higher caliber of clients to your podcast. I love music, but podcasting is where it's at. Here's a very big one. Your podcast listeners will be your very best client for the reason I mentioned earlier, because they feel they know you, they have this trust with you, they like you, they can relate with you, identify with you, resonate with you. 100% of my clients have come from my podcast. Let me repeat that. 100% of my clients have come from my podcast. Can you guys name any other medium that can come even closer to that? And I've done 0 social media. I have not spent a penny on ads yet. Yet I've been blessed to have over 110 high-ticket clients through my tiny little podcast/YouTube channel. Because again, they have this connection. It's all about the connection, the trust, the rapport. Because they will feel that they know you. Your podcast is basically your platform to allow your audience, your tribe, to get to know you, and for them to know you, so that to build the trust, the bridge is going to make it so much easier, seamless, and faster to take the relationship from complete stranger to a wonderful client, a client that you can really help at the highest level. Does that make sense, guys? Awesome. So now let's talk about you. Here are some foundational questions that let's brainstorm on those. I want to hear you take on these. First of all, raise your hand if you already have your podcast. I know, Sophia, you have a podcast. Anyone else has a podcast yet? Michael? Oh, yes, you just launched yours. Congratulations. Elijah and Lorna, do you guys have your podcast yet? Okay. What is the number one reason that you haven't started your podcast yet? Just curious. Let's see them chat. Okay, not yet, Elijah. Okay. Why not? Why haven't you started your podcast yet? What's the number one reason that's been holding you back? Let's check the chat. Oh, I'm a perfectionist and get in my own way. Yes, yes, yes. I can relate with that, Elijah. What about you, Lorna? What's the number one reason that you haven't started yours yet?
Mm-hmm. I would say that other things seem to be priorities, and a combination of other things seem to be priorities
Mhm.
and to get in place prior to as a foundation for it.
Okay.
And also the sense of and then maybe it's that perfectionist piece, but I would rather make sure I've got the basics in place first of all, and then I can still build on it rather than trying to piece here and then it's just sort of it gets frustrating and it falls apart. So
Okay.
yeah.
Makes sense. Thank you for sharing that. Now, why do you want to launch your podcast now and not 6 months in the future or 6 months ago? Why now? Who wants to share
For
that?
me, I will say it feels like I'm done with holding back.
Love that. Time to step up, time to get out of our own ways, and time to stop playing small. Time to embrace our gift and share them. Absolutely. You're speaking straight to my soul. Yes, yes, yes. Anyone else wants to share why they want to launch their podcast now and not 6 months ago, 6 months in the future? All right, let's move on. Where are you now in your business? Are you at the start? Are you stuck? Are you flying high and ready to the next level? Where in your business are you right now? In a few words. Let's start with you, Sophia, so we can give Lorna a break.
Where in the business are we? Are we in a few words? Oh my God, how long is a few words? In the growth stage
Okay,
with the business, and the podcast, yeah, is also in the growth stage. Yes.
beautiful. Love that. What about you, Michael?
Depending the level of the question of what it's pointing to, is be a different answer, but the all-around answer is flying high, ready to take this to the next level, always.
Love that, brother. Love that. Lorna.
My business overall is a 15-year-old business.
Okay.
5 years ago, switched to the online and needed to do a niching. My work just continues to evolve, and so it feels like, how to pinpoint where to start. And I know it'll continue to evolve, but where to start. So that's where I feel like I'm at.
Beautiful. Love that. Elijah, what about you, brother?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Question is, what are you now in your business? Are you at the starting phase? Are you at stable phase? Are you looking to level up to the next level and flying high?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in that zone before we get to altitude. It's like the plane's taking off. It's
Okay,
getting through the clouds, but we haven't reached that cruising speed yet.
good.
So yeah, I'm about 4 years in with this business. I've been a business owner for over a decade now, but with this my private practice about 4 years. So definitely further where I started, but nowhere near where I want to be at.
Love that. Love that. Now, let's future project. Let's dream big. Where do you want to go? What do you want to achieve your business? Let's not hold back. What is your dream outcome? What do you want to go? What do you want to achieve with your business? And a few words, starting with Michael.
I'm here.
What's your answer?
It would have been a different answer before,
Uh-huh.
which I haven't talked to you, Payman, and I did message you that we're
Sure.
waiting for the moment to talk.
Yeah.
Let me just say this without speaking too much about it. There's a reason why we haven't had our podcast, because we literally penetrated the quantum realm and we
Wow.
made it practical and very
Mm.
grounded, that whatever Michael had to go through or whatever, like all of the things that Michael didn't think it was good enough, covering up perfection, really procrastination, all these different things, it really has, and you know, the journey, Payment, we've been connected for a while now, is surrendering, letting go of social media, letting go of the coaching,
Yeah.
letting go of every single thing has freed us to such a point that we realize it's not us doing the job, like you mentioned earlier. We're in that quantum state where now we're just in flow.
Mhm.
Flow is guiding the path. And it's been a journey to get to this point. And it's even like amazing to even hear the words come out of this physical mouth. But it is a dream that we can't even imagine that was real, because we wish this, we dream about this. But yeah, when we get on the podcast, we're going to dive deep into this. And I'm looking forward to it, because this is why we haven't had our podcast.
Sure.
Michael was not ready. Michael was not ready. Michael was like, all
Awesome.
gears, let's do this. Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll do it, brother. We'll do it soon. Next week or the week after. Absolutely. Now, the last question, that's a big one. What's holding you back from achieving that goal, that dream, that vision of yours? Who wants to go first?
I'll start. And right now, I don't feel like anything is. It just more feels like it's time.
I love that. That's a perfect attitude. Love that. Love that. Sophia, Sacred Soul, what's holding you back from leveling up, from achieving your ideal goal?
The only thing that's really holding me back is me.
Getting
That's
out of
all.
your own way. Yes.
Getting out of my own way.
Stop
That's it.
overthinking. Yes, absolutely. We can all relate with that. Yes, yes, yes. Elijah, what's holding you back, brother, from taking off?
Nothing's holding me back.
Beautiful. I love that. You guys are amazing. And Michael, you ready to take off as well? What's holding you back? Nothing? Love that. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Now, moving forward.
Actually, we're grateful. Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, sir. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I said actually we're grateful for what was holding us back, because it's like
Yes.
that rubber band theory. Whatever was holding us back was our gift. So we're grateful for what was holding us back.
Absolutely. I love that. Now, here are some most common reasons to not start a podcast. These are based from my own results for talking with people over the last 4.5 years. The big three: I don't know where to start, how to start. I'm not a techie, and I do not know how to get the right people on podcast and how to grow it. How many of you can relate with any of those? Which one of these speaks the loudest to you?
Do we raise our hand or just speak?
Just say it. Just say it.
I'm gonna be as real can be. I've been working with AI, and even something else that I'm gonna talk to you about. Um, channeling some deep gnosis. And the thing that held Michael back, and revisiting the question, like let's just take off the mask, is we did a Canva presentation and we didn't like it. So it's like we wish we could be more experienced in that area,
Okay.
but
So
we know that
techie.
that's not the core. That's not going to speak the message. That's just going to
Yes.
introduce to those that are like, what is this about? But
Yeah.
to speak to the soul, that's what doesn't hold us back. That Canva thing, this happened about 2 weeks ago. We were like, oh my gosh, we don't like how this came out. And we're like, but the thing is, just get it out there. So
Absolutely.
tech is one of those things, but it's not like holding us back. It's just a little bit of a whisper of an echo that
Mhm.
says, get this right. So that's where we are.
Thank you for sharing. So tech and clarity, and these are two big things that we're going to cover deeply for the rest of the week. Yes. Now, here are some more reasons that are holding people back, and these really, when I hear them, they really break my heart because I used to be like that. That's the number one reason that people always, not just for a podcast, but for literally stepping up, taking that next level, starting that business, whatever it may be. And that is, who am I? Who's going to listen to me? I'm a nobody. My story doesn't matter. I don't matter. I'm not an expert and anything. I'm not a celebrity, and so on and so forth. It's all these false beliefs that we've been holding in our mind that have been holding us back. Which one of these can you personally relate the most? I can say all three of them for me. Can you relate with any one of these? Sophia, yes, go ahead.
Basically all of them.
Yes, exactly. All of them. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Lorna? Anyone else wants to share their answer? Which one of these they can relate the most with?
I'll take a go at it, Payman.
Okay, go ahead.
And I really love this question because it's been a question that like none of us can avoid is who am I, right?
Yeah.
And who am I was the biggest threat, was the biggest weapon, right?
Yeah.
That we weaponized against ourselves. And that shift is when you realize that who am I is an invitation.
Mm,
Just like when we watch a podcast, we're wondering who the speaker is,
yeah.
right? Especially if they're new and you've never seen them before, but yet something calls your attention to them. It's like, I wonder who this person is. I wonder what they do.
Yeah.
Especially if somebody goes live all of a sudden and something just calls your attention to them.
Totally.
And that question of who am I, when it becomes like the inviter, the welcomer, the encourager, that's I think that's what it's all about. So really, that's the reason why podcasting is so important because it's a parallel journey of self-discovery. Because even when we say that, we got everything together, why
Mhm.
would we be on this call? So
Yeah.
Payman, like the answer is like all of us,
Mhm.
and there's nothing wrong with that. All of us as human is we have this amazing Lamborghini or Ferrari, but we don't really know like the details of the brakes and the gears and all of that. And the more we get to know ourselves, just like Elijah was saying so beautifully, the more that we get to know ourselves, the more truly we get to know others because that's that universal reflection that who am I? I am, right?
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful thing. I love that question that you asked that because before it'd be like, oh my gosh, who am I? Who am I? Who am I to do this? Who am I? How can I show up like this? And
Yeah.
now it's like, not. Like if I wouldn't be given this opportunity, if God like did not think that, I was ready for it or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So it's like, if God has me in this situation or the universe creator has me in this situation, it's like, I'm not going to question. I'm going to be like, what you want?
Yeah.
How do you want it? You just tell me where to show up, right?
Thank you, brother.
So
Thank you
that's
for
the way that
sharing
I
that.
see it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's beautiful. Beautifully said. Absolutely. Now, one of the things that I needed to learn and then share that with others is that it's not about you or me or how we look, but it's about our gifts. Because your story matters, your voice matters, you matter. What do I mean by our gifts? What I mean is that we all go through our fair share of pain, trauma, abuse, tragedy, disease, betrayal, and so on and so forth. Struggles. Sure, it hurts a lot when you go to them, but guess what? Those become your story. Then your story becomes your gifts. And then your gifts become your duty and responsibility to share them with them. If there's one thing that we cannot and must not be greedy with, actually three things. One is smiling, being a good human being, kind, and three, our gifts. Our gifts are not meant to be kept inside. We're not meant to be greedy with our gift. That's the last thing we need to be greedy. Our gifts are here for us, not only for us, but also for others. So we can all benefit from them. So this is what I mean. It's all about sharing your gifts. First, embracing them, appreciating them, loud and proud, and then sharing them even louder and prouder around us and around the world. So ultimately, the gist is your story definitely matters, your voice matters, and you most definitely matter, regardless of what false belief we may have believed in the past, which is, who am I? Who's going to listen to me? I'm a nobody. My story doesn't matter. I don't matter. I'm not an expert. Or I don't have hair. I have a big nose. I'm fat, or whatever. Whatever misconception we may have. It's not about that. It's about your gift, your story, your message, your wisdom. So, and the good news is that it's not a rocket science to share that. Actually, a profitable podcast can be launched in 3 easy steps, and we're going to do that together on Thursday. 3 steps to launching your podcast. Number 1, the foundation, which we're going to be doing for the rest of the week, then the tech, and then the launch. And the final puzzle is, once we have all of that, how do we then make money? That's going to be the final puzzle we're going to do on Friday. So it's very simple, very streamlined. We're going to do that. So here's your action take for today, as we're about to close day 1. In the Facebook group, share in 1 sentence the top 3 goals, objective of your podcast. What do you want to achieve? What is your goal with your podcast? What is your vision? What is the gift you want to share? What is your mission? What is your purpose? Why you're here for? And what is the gift that you want to share with others? And we're going to do that more in depth the rest of the week. But I want you guys in 1 sentence to share that inside the comment section in the Facebook group. I will be posting the replay and the slides later today. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, you will have it in the Facebook group. For you guys, it's a bit late. Some of you, especially on the East Coast. Well, all of you guys are in the West Coast. Sophia is in Australia, start of the day. From me, start of the day. So 2-3 hours, you will have the replay and the slides. And I will create a thread on the Facebook group. Just simply 1 sentence. What do you want to, what's your number 1 objective of your podcast? What do you want to achieve to your podcast? What is the gift you want to share? What is your gift? Just these top 3 objective of your podcast. So that's it for today. Sneak peek into tomorrow, day 2. Thank you. I really hope this has inspired you and planted the seed in your mind. My job is merely to inspire you guys and to instill the seeds in your mind. And then the rest is for you. Just like the saying, you can lead a horse to the water, but you cannot make it drink. Same thing here. I can show you the path, but you guys have to take the steps. So tomorrow we're gonna dive even deeper. We're gonna be looking at the core of not just your podcast, but your business, your gifts. We're gonna be looking into brainstorming. What is your zone of genius? What is ultimately your true gifts? And once you have identified your zone of genius, that's gonna tell us clearly what is the number 1 pain point we can solve and for who, very specifically, because as you guys will see me repeat time after time, clarity is the name of the game. The more clarity you have, the more laser focused your message will be, the more magnetic it's going to be, and the more profitable and impactful it's going to be for you. So we're going to be basically setting up the foundation of your profitable podcast, irresistible offer, and business from tomorrow. So make sure you come here tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a very powerful day. Same time, same place, same link. Yeah. Any questions? Comments, compliments, anything? As my good friend, the pastor would say, speak now, hold your peace forever.
This has been very, very inspirational, very motivating, very encouraging. It feels you've made it very clear when you talk about clarity. You've made it very clear. You've made it very sequential. You've created the container for not only podcasts itself, but also for this program and how it feels very doable. I'm just really excited for this. Thank you,
Thank
Payman.
you. I appreciate that. One thing I want to clarify. We're not just launching a podcast here. We're doing something much, much, much deeper. And as I tell everyone, if all you're looking for is just to launch a podcast, you don't need me. Just go on YouTube, go on Amazon and grab a microphone for 50 to $100 and off you go. But what we're doing is building the foundation because we're tackling the number one reason why most coaches fail to get any traction. And that is because they lack clarity. They want to help everyone with all the issues. So what we need to do that is to identify one pain point for one person. And we do that by identifying your zone of genius, your true gifts. So that all you have to do is just share your story of how you overcame whatever you had to overcome. Because what you went through, there are countless other people going through that, and you're desperately crying for help. And they're not looking for a disconnected billionaire. They just want someone that is just a few steps ahead of them, someone they can relate with, identify with, resonate with, someone to be their big brother, big sister, and just say, hold my hand. I've been in your shoes. Grab my hand. We're going to come out together. I'm going to be your mentor, activator, coach, best friend, accountability partner. This is what people want. And this is what we're doing. We're identifying what is your true gifts, what is ultimately your true purpose, your true mission, why you're here for in this lifetime, ultimately. Maybe that's a lofty goal, but it's going to lead you down that path. Once you've identified your zone of genius, that's going to lead you towards finding your true purpose in this lifetime. So that's what we're doing here. Thank you, Lorna. I appreciate the beautiful words straight from your heart to my heart and my soul. Thank you so much. Any other questions, comments about anything I covered today?
Yeah, Payment Festival again, thank you. And I will aim to be present as much as I can this time because I know the last time I didn't make it. I don't think I didn't make it at all. I do have a question. I don't know if it's appropriate for now. It may be too early. I don't know.
Sure.
But I'd love to get your thoughts, opinions on whether video podcasting or audio podcasting is the way to go, or doesn't it really matter? Because I have heard that the more and more people are listening to YouTube podcasts rather than Apple and Spotify.
Yes.
And what
Great question. I would say, why choose? I have both. But my personal take is a video is 1,000 times more powerful than a sound or a picture. And especially because what we're doing here is to build trust, build rapport. And the best way to do so is to let the person see you. Having a podcast, a video call is the next best thing to being literally sitting across the table from someone. So I recommend highly having both. For me, video, because a video is the next best thing to being sitting across the person. But of course, I have both because some people prefer to listen, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, or even YouTube podcast. When they drive, when you cook, when they do the dishes, go for a walk, jogging, taking the dog out, whatever. Or when they're working, for example. I love listening to podcasts while I'm working. Or for example, when I'm creating these slides. So again, I have both. But ultimately, nothing beats video. Because then you can repurpose those videos into highlights, reels, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, which we do.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering if it's worth doing the audio. That's
Oh,
all.
absolutely. Absolutely. And one thing I love about Zoom is that Zoom automatically extracts the audio from the video. So you don't even have to worry about it. You just upload the audio file to your dashboard, and then from there, spread it across Spotify, Apple, and all those platforms. And the video, you just upload it to your YouTube channel.
Yep.
So do both.
Okay.
Great question.
Thank
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, Payman, I just want to say thank you. It's great to be back again because it's been a journey, and to be able to see the bigger picture
Mhm.
Because every time you think you hear something, we're not the same people that were, because I know Lorna was on last time. Sophia, I know you weren't on, but I know you've heard what, Payment has shared and things like that. We don't ever hear anything the same time, no matter how many times we hear it. And it's beautiful to mature and evolve with you, Payment and
Thank you.
Lorna and Sophia. I know we see each other in the serving circle. So it's beautiful to mature and remember why we're here and really to start taking action on those things, because I know I've been on your challenge for 3 times now, and I'm like, Payment, I'm
Really?
gonna
Has it
do
been
it.
3 times?
Do it. I think it's been 3 times. I think this is the fourth or the third.
You're killing
I
me,
don't
man.
exist
I
in
think it's the
time,
second
so
time.
huh?
I think it's the second
Is it the
time.
same? I'm telling you, it could be two. I think this is the third time, if I remember
Maybe you're right.
correctly.
October, January, and
Yeah,
okay, yes. The third is a charm,
yeah,
right?
but the beautiful thing is that it's really beautiful to witness your heart, because you're not after, the fanfare. You're after the soul, and that's what really matters. And we know without a shadow of a doubt, no matter what the world says, no matter what the profession or high performance says, is when you come from your heart, God,
Yes.
source, universe speaks to the people and brings the people to you. So it's beautiful to witness what you're doing. It's beautiful to
Thank
witness
you.
that you are shifting the game of what business is supposed to be and what it
Mhm.
was really called to be. So thank you. Keep shining and keep doing you, bro. Keep doing you, beautiful man.
Thank you, my brother.
And of
Appreciate it.
course,
Just like the saying says, appreciate that, graciously, gracefully, and gratefully claim these beautiful words from your heart to my heart. Thank you. Just like the saying says, when you read a book multiple times, each time you get something new that you may have missed because you were not ready for the information. Or you get an inspiration, you get a new breakthrough, an insight that say, wow. We've all been through so much in life that we've seen it all. But sometimes what we need is just having that specific thing being repeated at the right time. That's when it's going to really speak to you. And that's when it's going to really make the most sense. Because we've all heard about, oh, be authentic, be vulnerable, speak from the heart, other podcasts and all those generalities. Yes. But it's when you listen, you hear it at the right moment, when you're really most ready, when it's going to really have the most impact.
impact.
This is
Yes.
why it says they recommend reading the same book over and over again, because each time you're gonna get something new. Anyways, guys, I'm not gonna hold you back anymore. Thank you so much.
Payment, I
Yes.
gotta go.
See you guys
Thank you.
tomorrow. Good night. Thank you. And have a great day.
Bye.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye bye.